Good morning.
Good morning.
It's super early. Are you guys awake yet?
Happy Festivus! A holiday for the rest of us. Yeah. I am wearing, by the way, I'm wearing my Festivus shirt, and Vicky comes up here and she's like, it's not Festivus yet. And I looked at her and I said, it's not Christmas yet. Festivus comes first, you guys. It's on the 23rd, and Christmas isn't until the 25th.
It's true.
Anyway, and my hat I have, it actually does blink. Well, you can kind of see
You
it's
can
blinking.
see my earrings.
There
Only
you go.
one is blinking.
Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. It's Sunday Live Haul. We're doing things a little bit differently today, though.
There will be no haul.
There's not going to be an actual haul, so false advertising anyway. But so it's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter show because we're not doing that part. But we are going to go over our numbers for the year minus these last
2 weeks or so.
Yeah, week and a half, 2 weeks.
Through yesterday. The numbers are through yesterday.
Exactly. And so we're just going to kind of to give you a rough idea of what our year has looked like. Obviously, it's not going to be exact because we're not taking it. There's a lot of costs that we're not accounting for.
You don't have to say this every time. People understand that there are costs.
Whatever. Anyway.
And write-offs in this business. Hello.
Well, also because we do cash and not accrual method.
Nobody cares. We're just talking about our gross numbers.
Are we going to be airing grievances now? Because it really is Festivus, okay? Feats of strength, airing of grievances. How dare you? Where's the metal pole? Anyway, so we're going to be doing our numbers, and then we're going to go over our sort of top 5 favorite sales.
Yeah, so we would have had to go through all of our shows for the year, which was not happening. Love you guys, but no. So we have our favorite sales from secondary platforms, but eBay only goes back 90 days. So we weren't able to go back through our sales for the entire year on eBay. So I really only have one from eBay that I chose.
Me too.
eBay, let's fix our inventory system so that we can actually look at a whole year of sales at a time, like every other platform, please.
Yeah. But as we'll get into, we actually had a pretty decent year, despite trials and tribulations. And so one of the things that we want to do because it's the holidays, is we wanted to take this opportunity to use this little platform that we have with all of you loyal and generous viewers, because we've never done this before. We have done one show where we talked about Black Lives Matter, and we did a little bit of fundraising on that show specifically, but we wanted to take this opportunity to talk about a family in crisis here in Las Vegas that we are wanting to give back to. Real quick, though, no super chats today, guys. Please, no super chats.
Yes.
YouTube takes.
We want to say it very clear. Please, no super chats. As much as we appreciate them, YouTube takes 30% of a super chat, which, don't get me wrong, we're always happy that you're generous with them, but we want to make sure that the money entirely goes to this family that's in need. So we're going to be popping up a link in the chat several times. If our mods can repeat this link for us while we're talking, I would really appreciate it. The link is also down below the show. And I'm going to read from my phone because Katy's going to yell at me, but and tell you a little bit about this person. We do not know her personally. This was brought to our attention through a couple of friends that do know this woman well.
One of which is Dana, who you all know, House of Rocks. So she is friends with her. We have a few mutual friends. So this is a real person. This is a real crisis. And
I'm just going to read about it really quickly. And I should say really quickly, but it's not really quickly. Her name is Courtney. She is a hardworking single mother of 2. She has 2 children, 14 and 13 years old, and is a dog mom with 2 dogs. She has had a devastating run of bad luck and circumstances this last 2 years that has no end in sight. During the pandemic, the owners of the home she was renting decided to sell the house. And after exhausting her savings and paying for credit checks, she ended up having to take her kids and dogs to live in a very small, cockroach-infested 1-bedroom weekly, which is called Sienna Suite, which is in a very, very bad part of Vegas. It's pretty much where all the meth heads and hookers live. I mean, that's it. That's what it is. The job she had let her go, and the business was forced to close due to COVID and the mandates ordered by our governor here in town. When they were able to reopen, available positions went to those with the most seniority, and she was left behind. So Courtney then started doing delivery services like DoorDash and Instacart and that kind of thing to try and keep the roof over their heads, feeding her kids and dogs and paying the bills. Her only transportation that she was using to work and to get to medical specialists she needs to see was then stolen because she lives in a very bad area.
Yay.
So when they found it, it had been absolutely stripped, including all the tires, and it was taken to a tow yard where it sits because they want her to pay to get it out, even though it was stolen. So she has to pay the impound lot to get her stolen, stripped vehicle back. She clearly does not have those funds right now because she doesn't have 2 pennies to rub together. Anyway, she's trying really hard to keep her spirits up, and she needs, at this point, it's kind of a substantial amount of money. When you get behind that 8 ball so far that you can't find a way to see yourself out, even getting $100 or $200, all that's going to do is pretty much feed you. And just to let you guys know, here in Vegas, even those really inexpensive weekly places where people say like budget suites and Siegel suites and things like that, that's $200 to $250 a week for a 1-bedroom, really gross place. That's pretty much all that anybody makes if they're working on minimum wage. So it's really bad.
And she's dealing with a lot of health issues too. On top of that, it's basically, if she didn't have kids, this would be a really difficult situation to be in. And then you add to it that she's got 2 kids and it's Christmas time and it's a nightmare that she's in right now. And it's one thing after another.
Fortunately, I should say, is that because the kids are a little bit older, they absolutely understand what is happening in their world. And, Ripley's a little pissed off. Can you hear Ripley? Anyway, she's also dealing with a lot of medical issues. She's recovering from cancer. It's a whole hot mess. If you know Dana on a personal level, she did post about this on her personal page a few weeks ago, and some boss members did generously step up and give to Dana. Dana was able to take her raised a little over $900 in a couple of days, and Dana personally took her grocery shopping and was able to get her caught up on her cell phone bill, which she needs to work and to apply for jobs and everything else that everybody needs a cell phone for. And also, I believe, paid for a week of where she was staying. So
1 week. I mean, it's obviously that helps. But man, I can't even imagine.
I mean, I was a single mom for 12 years and I had my daughter at 17 years old, and I have been living on my own since I was 16 years old. And I'm going to tell you, I know what it's like to be this poor. I know what it's like to be this afraid as a parent. So I don't even know this woman, but I want to help her. We want to help her. And I know that you guys are super generous because you've shown that time and time again. So if we can use this little platform that we have in order to try and help her a little bit, that's what we want to do.
So again, no super chats. If somebody comes in later and didn't hear me say that, if we do get these super chats, we're going to go ahead and donate it as well. But again, we only get 70% of that. So you're kind of lowering your impact. But here's the thing we do want to do for people who do go ahead and donate to the GoFundMe.
You don't have to talk about it publicly, please. I know a lot of people donate anonymously and we want to respect that.
So you can donate anonymously. Absolutely. But one thing that we are going to do is we want to do basically kind of like a giveaway. We're going to give away a $50 eBay gift card and a whole lot of swag. And all you need to do, if you don't want to remain anonymous, is just send us a screenshot of your gift. We don't want you to like comment on her GoFundMe that it has anything to do with us.
She doesn't know us. She doesn't even know we're doing this.
So even if you give $5, just send us a screenshot. My email is down below, aboutiqueforhim@gmail.com, but it is down below. Send us a screenshot showing that you gave at least $5, and you will basically at the end of the year, we'll give it till the end of the year for those of you who aren't watching live. We will choose a winner, and that person will get a $50 gift card to eBay.
We'll just enter it into a little raffle,
little raffle. So you just got to privately send us a screenshot, either through my email or whatever. You can send it to, if you want to message me, if you know me, whatever. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So do you want to go ahead and get into the show?
Thanks for listening, guys. I know, a lot of you guys know us pretty well that watch our show, and we've met a lot of you in person. We've been really fortunate to do that. And I know that money is tight for everybody. Like, don't get me wrong. We know that. So like I said, we just want to be able to use what little platform we have and, maybe help her a little bit exponentially.
give her a little bit of a boost at the end of the year here while she's in the middle of this ongoing crisis, basically.
And I don't know her. Like I said, I don't know her. I've never met her. I will probably never meet her. She's never going to know about this. She doesn't know Katie and I. This is, while you're going to know who she is if you click on the GoFundMe, you'll at least see a picture. I don't know her last name.
GoFundMe doesn't get a cut. They do it. They have a thing where you can donate.
Yeah, GoFundMe 100% goes to that person.
You could there's an option to donate to a little bit, like a percentage to GoFundMe, but you can opt out of that. So no. So please just give directly to the GoFundMe and let us know. Anyway, do you want to get into our numbers?
Yeah.
So let's look at our numbers, guys.
Yeah, here's the thing. I just wanted to say, here's the thing. If we usually have about 1,500 people that view this show every week, or one of our shows every week, if not more, within a 1 week period. If all 1,500 people donated $5,
what's that number, Teresa? Tell us. Just kidding.
That would get her out of immediate crisis and could get her into a home. Whether it be a clean, safe rental or get her car fixed, all of that kind of thing. I also want to add that we have very good friends, Michelle and Nick, who own a auto body shop, who paid to get the car out of impound this week and are fixing it themselves. Yeah. They're doing a separate fundraiser to help for that. They're doing a separate fundraiser to do that, but they're doing that out of the kindness and generosity out of their own hearts. And they also, I don't believe that they knew her before this either.
Well, that's because they're amazing. Anyway, so let's get into this now. Let me say this without yelling at me real quick. What I was saying about cash versus accrual. We, as we've said before, our cost of goods is just for the stuff that we actually sold. But that doesn't take into account the ridiculous amount of other inventory that I know I've purchased.
That we buy all year. So we know these are not IRS numbers. These are just numbers to show you that you can compare. Because you can compare and see how many orders you have on each platform every year, how many, all the platform fees are the same for all of us, that type of thing. So just like we do for our weekly numbers, we did for our yearly numbers. I will say the one thing that we didn't do was do our itemized cost of goods for the entire week, because we have not gotten that far into our accounting yet. Let's be real. I don't do my taxes until after the extension.
Yeah.
However, what I did do, and if you watch our show enough, you'll know that my cost of goods is 10% of my weekly sales, if not lower. So I just rounded to 10% of my gross sales and used that as my cost of goods for guesstimation purposes.
I was able to go back through all of the weekly numbers that we put up. And I added up all of those cost of goods. And so, of course, it was only like, I don't know how many weeks that we took off, but it was less than 40. We did this year. It was less than 40 weeks out of the 52, or out of 50 I went, because we're skipping the last 2 weeks of this year. So I basically did an average and then multiplied it by 50. And that's how I came up with kind of a rough estimate of what my cost of goods were. So it's just going to give you a general idea. All right. So let's go ahead and look at this. And it's funny, there was a whole thread in Casey's group about, he had posted about List Perfectly. And man, let me tell you, these numbers are going to show you how important using something like List Perfectly to cross post, because let me tell you, I actually had a great year. And that's in no small part to my ability to use List Perfectly. I know that back in 2019, it was the first year I hit 100,000 gross sales for the year. Last year, we're going to call 2020 an anomaly because, there were about 6 weeks where our sales plummeted dramatically. And then we had the freaking best year of our lives.
I think a lot of people had a great year last year, and it's hard to compare. Like we said, it's an anomaly.
So I hit about 140,000 gross last year. This year, definitely my eBay numbers are down, my stuff's down, but I'm still up from 2019. And actually ended up being really, really close to my last year's numbers. So it's pretty incredible once you actually put this in perspective. So you can see 970 eBay orders. Come on. I couldn't hit 1,000.
No,
maybe I can hit 30 sales this next 2 weeks. Highly doubtful.
You don't think you're going to hit 30 sales in the next 2 weeks on eBay?
On eBay. Well, who knows? It slows down.
Okay.
Do you see what a jerk she is? Anyway, I might.
Right, sorry, I gotta take this headband off. It's giving me a headache. Sorry, guys. The elf band is going.
Yeah. 394 orders on Etsy. 213 Grailed orders, which, by the way, Grailed does not do reports. So I literally counted every single sale.
Oh, I had to do that on Depop, but I don't have that many.
So 213 Grailed orders. 73 Mercari orders, 42 Instagram orders, and 36 thrilling orders. Just wait till you see Vicky's numbers because they make mine look real sad. My total outgoing orders, 1,728 orders. My gross eBay sales, I have more items on my platform and better items I've ever had before. And my eBay sales just keep going down. But I did $69,778.55. Etsy is definitely down. Last year I did like $32,000. This year, $27,800. Grailed, I definitely am up a little bit, $16,142. Mercari, I mean, this is only the second year I've had Mercari, and so it's definitely up, $5,902. Instagram, $2,848. And Thrilling, which I've only had for a few months, $3,002.48. And then I do have an other line there, which includes a few private sales, affiliate stuff, just kind of a bunch of different random other income. So I'm just going to put that in there, $13,000 roughly. And so that brings my total, it says gross sales, but that 13,000 isn't
sort of total gross income.
Yes. $138,473.03. So again, I'm real close to last year, you guys, really, really close. Shipping, I do all of my shipping on Pirate Ship, which makes it real easy to go and look and see how much I spent on shipping in this year. $11,181.94. And then you can see the breakout of fees. I had to combine, I have eBay and Etsy, but I combined all my other ones because it was just, I didn't have enough room to put everything on one page. So you can see the total costs are $25,116.51. And then my cost of goods, roughly cost of goods sold, $25,000. So that puts my net at $88,356.52. Now my average sale price, gross and net, I took that out of, that does not include the 13,000. So, because I wanted it to be as accurate a number as possible. Look, I actually hit, I always say I try to get at least 70 average sale price gross, $72.61 for the whole year.
That's
so
good.
I'm pretty happy about that. My net average sale price, $43.58. So that's my year, which I feel really good about it.
I think if total gross income almost $140,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's not.
For one person with no helpers.
True. Very true.
Selling only flipping t-shirts and sweatshirts and a couple of jackets maybe this year.
Yeah, I sold some jackets, man. Anyway, so yeah, I feel pretty good about that. And then let's go look at Vicky's and
you can weep.
It's real good. And I will weep quietly or loudly. I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, here you go.
Okay, so I had 1,652 orders on eBay, which is down for me. I generally do over 2,000 or so a year. I combined my Etsy, Thrilling, and Depop. So 338 orders between those three platforms. I had 623 Poshmark orders.
Impressive.
Now, mind you, I flippin' hate Poshmark. But guess what? Poshmark beat Etsy, Thrilling, and Depop combined in gross sales for me this year.
And the only reason you finally caved and did Poshmark
is because of List Perfectly.
Yes.
Because they made List Perfectly made it so easy for me to bulk cross post to that platform. I started on Poshmark the end of January in 2020, and it took me several months to get up to speed. And then I wasn't using a bot for the longest time, so the whole manual sharing thing, frig that, right? So anyway, so 623 orders on Poshmark, 105 on Mercari, for a total of 2,718 orders.
Guys, that's 1,000 more items than me.
Now, I will say I didn't add my individual and private sales to that number because it's a little harder to track, but there weren't too many.
Yeah,
I would say maybe 10, maybe 10. So eBay gross sales, 91,000, just over 91,000, which is down for me by last year by 19%.
Wow.
Okay. So 19% down on eBay. It gives me $91,000. Etsy, Thrilling, and Depop combined, $23,492.
Do you know were you down or up?
I am down on Etsy by about $5,000.
Okay.
And my Poshmark gross sales, $26,194.
Again, would not have that $26,000.
I would not have nearly $50,000 in income. Etsy, Thrilling, Depop, Poshmark, not Thrilling. Okay, let's take 3,000 or so, 3,000 and change out of there. I would not have any of those platforms without List Perfectly. That's over $45,000 additional income this year alone. Seriously. And last year was about the same. So, and Mercari. So Mercari's almost $50,000. Mercari, 46, 48. Other, like, just like Katy, affiliates, other income that I've had this year. So just under $25,000 in other income. So my total, I would say gross income, because the last is not sales, is 170,000. Last year it was about 175. So because of adding other platforms and having other income, my income is almost exact this year.
Isn't that crazy? It's the same for both of us.
Even though my eBay and Etsy are down overall.
Yeah.
So,
and I'd also like to point out that this year we've had a lot of stuff that has kept us from being able to focus on our stores. We've not been able to put as much time into listing. So to me, I actually feel like, and last year it's like we were stuck at home and we were able to like really kind of
this year, and this year we really, the world opened up a little bit again. So we spent a lot of time taking trips and visiting family and friends and trying to enjoy life.
Yeah. I feel like next year we can beat these numbers.
I think we can.
All right,
I think next year we can. So my shipping, just like Katy, I ship absolutely everything through Pirate Ship this entire year. I started that last year, even though I pay a little bit more on a couple of packages because eBay does have better pricing on a handful of items, because the reports and analytics are so good on Pirate Ship. And
they're awesome.
And I use a points-based business card. So anyway, 14,650-ish shipping. And then you've got the various platform fees, eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, Mercari. So total costs, shipping and fees, just about 33,500. And again, I take my total costs of goods. My purchase price for items is generally 10% of the gross sales. So because my gross sales were about 140, what I have on it, 145, just over 145, I kind of overestimated and put 15,000 as my cost of goods to be conservative. So my total net income is just over $120,000 this year. My gross average sale price is a little bit lower than I like it. So it's at $53 and change.
Your goal is what, 60?
My goal is 60. I did change it up. I did change up the way I was buying. And so my cost of goods are a lot lower this year. So it ends up actually working out. My net average sale price is $35. So
yeah. It's funny because you have 15,000 cost of goods. Mm-hmm. I have 25,000 cost of goods, and you had 1,000 more orders than me. So you're definitely, my cost of goods are definitely a lot higher than yours for sure.
And yep, DuPage picker, Greg. That's exactly what we are. Last year we did just about $300,000 combined, and this year just about 300,000 combined as well. So when we do talk about how we're teaching people, and we choose to teach people and tell people, how to be successful resellers, I think we can say that we do pretty well at it. It's not, we're not just throwing smoke to say,
but man, let me tell you, it's a hustle. We've really had to diversify. If I was only selling on eBay, like I said, I have more items on eBay than I've ever had, and I have higher quality items on eBay than I ever have. And I would have only had $70,000 gross income. That to me, that's not enough. So that, to me, that this is kind of illustrates what it's like being a reseller these days, is that you really do have to diversify. You have to look at other platforms. You have to really hustle. You cannot stay the same. You can't stay and complain and about how eBay's changed.
Answer the question there. So Rebecca of Polywog Flats asked, how long have you been doing this business? I've been on eBay as a seller since 1998. I have been actively selling. I've been on eBay since 98. Let's put it that way. I've been actively selling since 2004. And I have been a full-time seller since 2009. From 2004 to 2009, I was a part-time seller, still making over $30,000 a year. So that some people consider that a full-time income, and that's totally cool. That was just my part-time. I used that was my fun money. That was my vacation money. That was my money to buy things for the house. That was my money to whatever. That was fun money. Because I did have another full-time income. And then in 2009, I decided to go back to school full-time, and I needed to replace my full-time income. while working part-time. And that was when I really started to ramp up my eBay. And again, I will say in 2017, where my gross sales were probably $65,000 on eBay alone in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2017 to this year, 2021, I've almost tripled my income.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Well, and for me, I was a dabbler in the selling world since like the early 2000s. I'm a movie collector. And so I did a lot of selling here and there, mostly on Amazon, since like about 2002, 2003. And then like when I went to grad school in 2007, I actually sold a big chunk of my collection to fund my move. But I didn't start actually selling as a job, as a career until my first sale was December 2015. So I've been full time since then. So I don't have as much.
So you've been 6 years full time.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep. All right.
So yeah, this is not to say that there are not many sellers and YouTubers that do far better than both of us.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still consider us successful sellers, but we are by no means the most successful. Honestly, the ones that are doing far better than us are not doing YouTube and not talking about it.
Yeah.
But there are a handful that do. And most people do not disclose these type of numbers, and that's okay. Nobody's required to.
No.
We do it because we've always talked about being transparent and having full transparency, because we don't have anything to hide.
Well, and our big thing is like, you're giving us your time and you are looking to us for advice or for guidance on being sellers. And so we think it's important to demonstrate our ability to be sellers. We always say like, don't come to us for financial advice as far as like keeping your books or doing your taxes.
And don't come to
like
us
that.
for Amazon advice, because we don't know crap about Amazon. Although my brother and sister-in-law are coming in about 45 minutes, and they are very successful Amazon sellers. So I'm going to be picking their brains this week a little bit.
And for all you know, we spend 150% of our income on booze and gambling, and I mean, you have no idea like if we're good with managing money at all.
Well, yeah, that has nothing to do with it.
But we can show you, hey, we kind of know what we're doing when it comes to selling stuff. And so that's the way it works. All right. I want to say real quick, thanks to Sandra for popping that GoFundMe link up again for anyone who has jumped in recently. We are doing a giving back campaign to a local single mother who's having a really, really tough time here in the Vegas area.
If you watch the show from the beginning, I do go a little bit more in depth into what is going on with her in her life and how we do not know her, but we would like to pay it forward and help this family.
This is a real person who is
Shopaholic Inc. just donated and shared on my Facebook.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
But this is a real person who's friends with our friend Dana that you all know, House of Rocks, and there is on the GoFundMe link there is a much longer story about everything that's going on with her. So please, even if it's just $5, that would be awesome. We would appreciate it.
She does not know us. We don't know her. She does not know we're doing this.
No,
she'll
not
never.
at all.
There would be no way she would know.
No.
We just want to know if you can,
And if you want to be in the running for a $50 eBay gift card and an awesome, we're going to pack a package full of seller swag. Just send us a screenshot privately to my email, aboutiqueforhim@gmail.com, which is down below, or you can message one of us a screenshot of you're giving at least $5. And we'll put you in the running to potentially win that. And we would really, really appreciate it.
And as Teresa says, we usually have about 1,500 people view each of our shows a week. If all 1,500 people donated $5, that would get her to $7,500. Right there, and that would get her out of crisis mode. That's a nice hunk of money to get a vehicle fixed first and last months on a home. A rental of a good rental here. And I will say that most people, if you don't live in Las Vegas, rental prices are astronomical right now.
Yeah.
And I know that that's happening in a lot of areas, but I want you to know that you cannot get into a 1-bedroom studio in a horrible neighborhood for under $1,000 a month.
And then you got to have like first and last and security.
Security. She has 2 dogs, which means she'd have to pay a pet deposit. So, I mean, we're talking $4,000 for her to get into a hovel. If she can find one.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's pretty rough right now. Anyway, all right. So Next up, we are going to look at sort of top 5 sales for the last year. I say sort of because, as Vicky said earlier, it's real difficult on some of these platforms. eBay, you can only go back 90 days. We didn't anticipate doing this, so it's not like we saved it. So we're going to say our 5 picks for highlights of sales this last year, but not necessarily our best sales. So let's go ahead and share this, and you can show us this awesome cardigan sweater. What's going on here?
So this was something that I had picked up at a sale for $5. I had it listed for less than 2 weeks, and I ended up taking an offer during one of our live shows, and I took an offer on this. So I believe it sold for $400. It doesn't show that there, but it was an offer for $400. I had paid $5 for it. This sold within the last 90 days, but I loved this sweater. I could have held out, I'm sure, but I was pretty happy to take $5 and turn it into $400.
I like it.
Within a couple of weeks.
I like it. All right. So it's funny because my best eBay sale, actually my best sale altogether, happened just very recently. So this actually is my best sale of 2021, and one of the most fun because this is a favorite movie of mine. I actually have Bruce Campbell signed
They're not going to see that in your little tiny screen.
Well, it's really important. So
you're going to show your whole head now so people can see it.
Yeah, I'm going to show it. It's right up there. It's signed by Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead 2. Very cool limited numbered edition of the movie. Ooh. So anyway, this shirt, I had paid $100 for it. Bought it from Jesse of Yesterday's Fits at ThriftCon. And I listed it. It didn't even have a chance to go on sale. It would have rolled into the sale for $480. Sometimes I literally had something I listed this week, and when I went after I listed it, not even like 7 minutes later, I went and looked, and it already had rolled into my sale. Like it was that fast. It was the fastest I've ever seen something roll in the sale. This, for whatever reason, did not roll into the sale the whole day it was listed. And then overnight it sold for the full price you see there, $699.99. So I felt pretty lucky because I'm like, geez. And it went to Canada, I believe. So that's pretty cool. Ooh. All right. Next up.
This actually came from the same exact sale that the Missoni sweater came from. This was one of my fun finds as well. I also paid $5 to $7 for this. And this was vintage Dolce & Gabbana, of all things, which was not labeled because the tag had been removed. But go figure, my fantastic lister and photographer, Crystal, was able to determine that it was Dolce. I just knew it was great quality and it was super cute. I was paying $7 no matter what. Didn't have anything to do with the brand. But the zipper was branded Dolce & Gabbana.
Nice.
So she was able to figure this out. So it was $5 to $7. This sold on Depop. And I don't have a lot of sales on Depop. I've had 15 total since I've been on there. I'm probably going to drop the platform. But this sold for $400, the full price, within five or 7 days or so since I listed it. So I was pretty happy. Again, I paid $5 to $7, turned into $400. Just a beautiful, beautiful dress. Honestly, it would make for a fantastic romantic Victorian wedding dress type of thing. I can picture somebody with like flowers in their hair, and like, it's just so cute. All the ruffles.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Next up for me. So this one I want to talk about because one of the highlights of the year. So as you know, I buy a lot from Yesterday's Fits, from Jesse and Austin. Those of you who came to the remix got to meet them in person and see them up on the stage. They're awesome guys, super young, 23, 25. This year they each bought their own first houses, all on their income with their business, selling vintage streetwear, vintage and current streetwear. And the reason this particular sale stands out for me is because earlier in the year, Jesse was ready to buy a house, but he needed a little bit more cash to have a bigger down payment so that he could get a better mortgage, I don't know, whatever. Vicky knows better how it works, but better rate. So he reached out to a few of his bigger buyers and was like, hey, I'm looking to, I just need to get some quick cash if you want to come in, and I'll give you some great deals on stuff. And so he had all of these awesome Toy Story dead stock t-shirts, and normally he would sell them for quite a bit, but I was able to get an awesome deal. I bought a ridiculous amount of stuff from the shop, and Vicky bought a bunch of stuff, and so did Teresa. But I got a package deal of like 4 of these shirts with all the different characters on them for $700 total for 4 shirts. Sounds like a lot, but every single one of them sold for 300 and up, and just within a very relatively short amount of time. So I turned $700 into basically over $1,200 in a very short period of time, and got to help my friend and somebody I do business with get his first house. So I felt really good about that. And I'm, you know, Vicky and I always kind of joke, but we're serious that we feel like these guys are kind of our kids, and because we feel like so proud of them for everything they've accomplished. And I love that in my own little way, I got to help him out and also help my business. So it all worked out. And then I'm going to ask Teresa, have you listed?
Nope, she just said, I still need to list those sneakers.
Okay, I was going to say, have you listed? Because she basically got a bunch of shoes from him, which Vicky and I delivered ourselves.
Hand delivered
a long time ago.
In like March.
He's already been living in his house for a while. Anyway, it was very, very cool. So yeah.
So I don't know if does Flipper tools still work when something is old?
Let's see.
I don't know. I remember I bought this at the bins. Katy actually came to the bins with me maybe once this entire year, and that was one of the things she found.
Yep, still shows.
And they charged me $2.99 for it, $2.99, and it sold within a couple of weeks, even with the little busted atomic symbol. If you can show the picture, it was missing a little spoke. It sold within 2 weeks or so, and it sold for $200 plus shipping. I believe the buyer paid about $50 shipping. We actually had a box that it fit in perfectly, which was fantastic because it's not like you needed to pad it or create a box. It just slid right in and slapped a label on it, and there you went. It was big though. It was a big full-size hamper that you would have, and it was in that fantastic avocado green.
Ooh.
Mid-century, very, very late 60s to 70s, not mid-century modern, mid-century. It was just very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, Laura. Yes, you can. Come on, they're easy.
She's probably like, I see him every week because she has the most amazing
she's the best,
stuff
the best
in
stuff.
Michigan.
Yeah, I would buy them every week. Let me tell you something.
Yep.
They're hard to. They're not difficult to ship if you have the right size box.
Yep.
So just make sure you have the correct size box and get those on Etsy.
Yeah, seriously.
If they are a dime a dozen, then yes, you should be buying them. It's very easy to
go.
photograph.
You got to
and
get
ship.
your truck and go.
Seriously, I'm going to come move in with Laura and her husband for
Yeah.
a month and just like load up.
Yep, you got to do it. All right, next up for me is, this was a fairly recent sale, but the reason I wanted to point this one out is it's just a great story and a big reason why I love selling vintage. For me, I love the history of each piece. I love finding out, if there is some history behind it. And even if there isn't a history behind it, knowing a shirt is like 40 years old and it's still intact and it's like just thinking about what journey that shirt's taken. This particular one, though, is a really cool shirt from the Iran hostage crisis. There was a guy who had created this shirt, and they actually sent it to the hostages while they were still in captivity. And there's like a famous picture of them all wearing these shirts. So there's a while that like a bunch of people had these shirts. And so I sold this one recently, and it ended up going for, I think it was $180.
Your review's right there.
What?
The review is right underneath it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm aware. That's my whole point. Anyway, so yeah, it was 10% off. So it sold for $179.99. And so I shipped it out, and I just got a review yesterday. The person who bought it said, the fastest shipping ever. My father had this shirt when my siblings and I were younger, and we are so thrilled to gift him a new one for Christmas. It's in perfect condition. Thank you so much. So I just think it's super awesome to see a story like that. Like somebody, they paid up because it's nostalgia. It's like they probably have really happy memories of when they were kids and their dad wore this shirt all the time. And they want to make them smile. And so they got him this cool present for Christmas. And I got to be a part of that. And apparently the shipping was really fast. So impressive.
That's awesome.
So
Sandra just popped in. I don't remember what the GoFundMe was when we started. Do you
I wrote it down.
Thank you.
So when it started, it was at $3,605. So apparently we just pushed it up over $4,000. So that is awesome, you guys. That is really, really cool. It's going to make a big difference. Now I'm sure like the GoFundMe, I think has been around for a while. So I'm sure,
I think the GoFundMe's been around for a while. It's not a new GoFundMe. So I know that that 3,000 or initial 3,000 is
probably long gone, trying to pay for all just everything
Upkeep.
that she's having to deal with.
Yeah.
And so for anyone who's just joined us, we're doing this last show of 2021, going over kind of our highlights of the year, but we're also taking the opportunity to pay it forward and help out somebody in need, a single mom with 2 kids who's having some major problems that are costing a lot of money and is currently living in one of those weekly motels, grubby motels that cost way too much, and
they're so predatory. Honestly,
it's terrible.
$200 to $250 a week to live in a cockroach infested studio weekly apartment surrounded by hookers and drug addicts and people that just got out of prison.
And you got your kids there, and it's just it's tough. So we're trying to do everything that we can, and we'd love it if you could give. Even just $5. And if you want to be in the running to win a $50 eBay gift card and a bunch of swag, just donate at least $5 in the GoFundMe, send us a screenshot to my email or however you want to contact us, and you'll be in the running for that. So we really appreciate it. Okay, so let's go to...
It is the season of giving, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We all spend, stupid money on, Starbucks and as far as us, like Dutch Brothers and all that kind of stuff. And, taking a little bit and giving, $5 or $10 to somebody that desperately needs it. We're sitting here in the comfort of our own homes, talking on our computers, complaining about eBay sales. And, as far as I'm aware, none of us are in a position as bad as that right now. So,
no. So, all right. Except for your highlights.
This was one of my favorite sales this year on Etsy. This was part of my large haul from the Clothing Vault, which was the vintage store that was owned by the ladies that own List Perfectly. I was able to acquire the balance of their inventory at the end of last year. It was actually October of last year. So it took several months to get items listed. This sold earlier this year on Etsy. And then
let's see what it sold for.
Sold for $235 plus shipping. If I remember correctly, this also went to Canada. So the buyer paid shipping. Big, heavy jacket. I just love, you guys know I love vintage blankets, but now that we've got a vintage blanket jacket.
I think it's really cool.
I thought they were very cool.
I like the design. I
actually had 2 of these. I had one that did not have the stripe and one that was solid red. And then this one was the red with the black around it. It was fantastic. Hudson's Bay is a brand to look for. Obviously, you want to buy their blankets when you find them, but also buy clothing, buy the jackets. For the age of this jacket, it was in very nice shape.
Mm-hmm.
It had some issues with the lining, as Katy just showed with the pictures, but it was just fantastic. I loved this jacket. It's so not my style. I could never pull it off, but I love that it, works for someone else.
Yeah.
Very
nice. All right. Now Mercari, for everything that drives me crazy in all the ways, I do appreciate that you can look at your completed sales and actually arrange them from highest price to lowest price.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually can see something cool. Like look at what some of your best sales of the year were. So this is one I got from Jesse Yesterday's Fits. If I remember correctly, I gave him like $75 for it. And I don't think I had it listed for all that long. And if I also remember right, it's pretty small. Like it's a relatively small shirt.
Medium.
38 to 40. And it sold for $225 on Mercari.
Listen, Luther is beloved.
Anyway.
That velvet voice that he had.
So I think I was pretty happy about that. Mercari is probably it definitely is my least favorite platform, but it keeps me hanging on.
Mine is Depop, and Mercari is not too far behind. Yeah. I have to be honest. I think I'm going to, I don't know, like Depop was under $1,000 in sales this year. So I don't think that's worth it for me. I'm going to get rid of it in the spring.
Mercari, when I look at my numbers for the whole year and I look at how much time I actually spend
I know, this is what we do all the time.
It's so fast. And so you break it down. Like I don't remember how much time I figured it out, but I figured out like weekly, like how much time
maybe an hour a week, maybe
not
an hour a week. Yeah.
And then, when I broke it down, it was like, for that time that I spend in Mercari, I'm making like $50 an hour. So it's like,
same thing.
I can't.
So that's how we broke it down. So
I can't quit you, Mercari.
You did the same thing as me. We both did under $5,000 on Mercari this year. So, I did 4,600 on Mercari this year, and same thing. I maybe spend an hour a week on it. So what's 4,600 divided by 52?
Numbers geek.
Numbers geek. I don't have a calculator in front of me, and I'm not that smart. But anyway, so 46.48 divided by 52 is and then it's $1. That's what I'm getting per hour.
Yeah. So it's like you can't beat that. I mean, it's. So it's
being a clothing seller is really what it is. So I sell, probably 75% clothing, and Katy sells 100% clothing, obviously. 75% clothing. It's just not working for me on Mercari, which is it overall, but it's still not horrible.
Right.
The majority of what I sell is not clothing on Mercari. I think the clothing gets lost, and I don't blow stuff out for cheap prices, and people want $90 an hour.
$90 an hour. So it's like when you figure it out, and that's one of the things that we like to talk about. It's like, you got to think about like what your time is worth. And so when you're
my time is worth $90 an hour.
Yeah. And so when you're looking at it like that, it's like, okay, I guess I'll keep doing Mercari. Jeez, so.
But Depop, nothing for me. And honestly, it's because, again, Depop is a fast fashion, younger demographic. They don't want to spend $150 on a vintage dress. And that's what I'm charging. I don't sell stuff for $20, $30, $40. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's the target market and the target market price on Depop, which means I'm just not going to fit in there. And that's okay. Yeah. I don't need to be on every platform. I need to capitalize my time and spend my time wisely on the platforms that work for me, which is why I never wanted to do Poshmark, because I feel like that social sharing and all of that crap, the following, the unfollowing, the parties, the Poshmark tips, all that bullshit, that's so multi-level marketing to me, that screams that whole girl boss multi-level marketing crap. Oh, it's like LuLaRoe on a clothing selling app. I can't deal with any of that crap. However, the platform makes me money, and List Perfectly made it way too easy for me not to list there.
Yep.
So got to do it.
Yep. All right. Next up for you.
This was a really fun find too. So I found two, count them, two. Two vintage gunny sacks, 1970s prairie dresses in the bins.
What?
Yeah. Found it in the bins. So I paid under $1. That was when Lorna was here. Lorna was with us. Lorna was with me. Under $1 a piece for these. They were in perfect condition.
Crazy. Just like beautiful. A paper tag, right? And it's like
Jessica gunny sacks, the perfect paper tag. This one was like probably never worn because the paper tag was still in perfect condition. So I listed it. This sold within an hour of cross-posting it. I had listed it to eBay, cross-posted it all within like a couple of hours. I do my listings on eBay organically, and then I use List Perfectly and cross-post them out. So what did it sell for?
Oh, sorry.
Pay attention.
Sorry about it.
$300. So sold for $300. I paid $1 for it in the bins. It was a great bins find. It was not only one of my favorite finds, but one of my favorite sales of the year.
Yeah, very, very cool. I had seen who was it? I think it was Kelly wanted to know what our favorite thing is that the other person sold. I don't
know.
To be honest, like I can't off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of like something that you sold that I was excited about. I mean, I'm always excited when she sells something that like I scored for it. So like that laundry basket, like I went over and I grabbed it because I have some knowledge and some instincts when it comes to the kind of stuff.
You do. You have good instincts.
But then sometimes I'll show her stuff and she's like, no. So it's like I don't know everything. So I'm always excited when I actually, So like Vicky will pull a t-shirt and I'm like, no. But there's plenty that she does know about. And so I'm always excited when it's something that like I found for her, or even like, a couple of weeks ago when she sold that airplane clock radio thing that like I had said, you know, when we got to the estate sale, I was like, you got to get this. And she was like, nah, it's too much. And really, she would have made good money on it, even with the original price. And so then the next week when we went back and it was 50% off, I basically snuck it in the pile. And it wasn't until we got to the car and she was like, you got this?
I bought that.
Yeah.
Not you. I bought that.
And it sold like the day she listed it. So stuff like that, like it makes me feel kind of like, I'm like, oh yeah,
I do know
got
what
it.
I'm doing.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have a favorite
look,
t-shirt.
so Dan, I really don't. I mean, I think I really liked your Evil Dead shirt, and I think that you had some 80s rock shirts that you did really well with this year.
Stuff
I always
you'd like to be able to steal from me.
Yeah, stuff that I would be able to. I would love to be able to steal. I do see Danica's in there. Lady Luck Junk. Nothing tops the fox. I forgot his name. It was Herman.
I think that was
about 2 years ago. I had purchased a taxidermy. Those of us that have been watching, those that have been watching a while, I purchased a taxidermied red fox, and his name was Herman. And I don't know.
He had the goofiest look on his face.
He had the cutest face. They made. I don't know who did it, but it was perfect. And I loved him. And I don't care for taxidermy. Don't get me wrong. Most of the time, I think it's fairly creepy. But something about his face was so damn cute.
Well, and it was kind of goofy. Like it was probably somebody who'd only been doing taxidermy for like a year or so. So they kind of had the skills, but they weren't quite good at getting their faces to look right. And so he had kind of a goofy, awkward kind of.
I almost kept him, Sandra. I almost kept him.
He was real
He
cute.
sold for over $300 too. And then there are, he has his own Instagram. It's like Herman and Rosie or something like that. The woman who bought him from New York, and she collects taxidermy and has this whole Victorian cottagecore aesthetic thing going on around her taxidermy. It's fantastic.
Britt wants to know, were those anime shirts this year?
They were the end of last year. I checked. They were the end of last year that they sold.
Because those were that was a good deal because you paid like what 50 cents a piece for.
I paid about 50 cents.
It was like a fill a bag or something.
And I got well over $2,500 for those altogether.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, Britt, you're close. I checked. They were the very end of last year because I was going through my Instagram messages because I sold a few direct on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. All right, let's wrap things up here. My last thing. So I actually just sold this relatively recently, and I did not actually sell it on eBay, but let me go ahead. I can show you. It's on Thrilling. So I just sold this, and it actually went for, where is it?
Right there. Haley's Comet.
Haley's Comet. Sold for $150, guys. $150. This is one I've had for over a year. This actually came
Barry.
Yeah, it came from Barry. And it was pretty tiny, pretty small.
And it wasn't even like full sleeve length almost. I felt like the sleeves were younger.
But I love it. Younger. I love it because like I remember when I was a little kid, when I was real little, everything in the news, everybody was
I remember watching it too. Elementary school.
Everybody was talking about Haley's Comet. So for me, when I saw this, I was like, that's amazing. I love it. And so I priced it super high, even though probably I'm one of the only people who thinks it's amazing. But apparently somebody on Thrilling also thought it was amazing.
Exactly.
And they paid $150 for it. So you know what? I think that's one of my favorite kind of sales. Like, yes, I would absolutely much rather and love for something to sell the second I list it. But when there's something that like I have nostalgia over and I really love, and so I price it high because I can't stand the thought of like letting it go for too cheap. And it takes a while. And then finally somebody comes along who appreciates it for the value that I put into it. I think that's really cool. And that makes me super happy. So that's probably actually is one of my favorite sales of the year, even though it just happened. But it makes me pretty happy. Yes.
Put the picture back up. Yeah, there you go. So Greg asked a question, thoughts on selling on Whatnot app. Do you know about it? Is that the one created by the Virtual Flea guy?
No. Whatnot app? No, it's a new app. Seriously, like
there's so many.
I have to be honest. First of all, there's so many. Secondly, all these social selling things, it is where a lot of the future is going. And let me tell you, I'm in full resistance.
Freaking exhausting.
I'm in full resistance, and not because it's stupid.
Take the question down.
Well, we're still talking about it. So
I know.
People who pop in know what we're talking about. So I'm only resistant because I'm old and I don't want to have to change. And the whole thing of like videos and 3D stuff and all this stuff, I'm like, geez, I already have a way that I take my pictures. I don't want to do things differently. I don't want to deal with it. So No.
We do talk about adjusting and changing.
Some things are harder than others.
Yeah, I will say, here's the thing. There are so many platforms out there. You have to pick and choose the ones that have the best audience for what you're selling.
Mhm.
You have to pick and choose the ones that make sense for you to invest time and energy in. I think a lot of those smaller platforms are not quite there yet. I don't know about that one personally, so I don't want to comment on it. But like for me, am I going to sell on Tradesy or Kitizen or some of those other smaller platforms that have a very, very small audience? No, it's not worth my time, because the items that I sell are why am I going to waste my time to sell one thing a month? Do you know what I mean? Like, there comes a point where you do spread yourself a little too thin.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with trying a bazillion platforms, right? Some people do fantastic on Facebook Marketplace. It sucked for me. I didn't even add those sales this year because I stopped selling on Facebook Marketplace in February. So I forgot to actually add those sales.
Like what, maybe a few hundred bucks?
Maybe $1,000. But there are certain platforms that are just not worth it to me. Now, there are several platforms that cater and advertise to a specific audience that do the work for you, such as Thrilling.
Yeah.
Which if that trend continues and I'm able to just have an account manager that I send a CSV file to, like Thrilling, and they upload all my crap, and then they just send me a shipping label and I do none of the advertising and they just charge me a fee. Hell yeah. I personally would do far more with those types of platforms if they start rolling out. Yeah. And there are a few in the works.
The reality is what we're doing is working for us now. And as you can see over the last few years, we've been able to grow our businesses every year. And so I kind of feel like I'm going to hold off until I'm forced to do it differently, because I'm sure it will happen eventually. But right now, I'm not ready for it.
Greg says they have an affiliate link that gives your viewers $15. So, I mean, here's the thing. I think you guys know us by now. We literally promote 2 to 3 things ever. And we have a baby audience. We do this because we love you guys, not because we're making money off of YouTube, because we're not. But not that we're not monetized, but the money is negligible. Trust me. We will talk about affiliates or have affiliate relationships with people and companies that we believe in or products that we use
that we use actively. Like. So we would have to actively be using Whatnot before we would start giving out an affiliate link.
Yeah.
Actively using
Although, Greg says, for what it's worth, I hear it's a good source for teas at decent prices.
Oh, I'm sure.
It probably is, because a lot of people that sell things that Katy sells are not waiting for that long tail customer. They just want to do a quick flip on a quick platform that is easy for them. Platforms like eBay and Etsy are too difficult for a lot of people in that market. So,
well, I've done some good buys on like Mercari, and I hate that platform. So it definitely for sure. So speaking of those companies that we do mention, that we do actually promote, and we've mentioned it several times on the show today. But speaking of that, List Perfectly, I'm telling you guys, if you're looking at, it's the end of the year, you're probably starting to think about what's going to happen next year. What do I want to do for my business next year? Let me tell you, seriously, if you are not already using List Perfectly and you have a decent number of listings,
just look at our sales.
Yes, look at our sales.
I would not be on any other platform. I was on Etsy, manually copying and pasting 30 items a week or so I was paying someone to do that. 30 items a week or so on onto Etsy before cross-posting software existed. Yes, there are a few other cross-posting programs. I'm going to say List Perfectly created this type of software. They were the first. I said before, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? That's what we say. I think that it's pretty fantastic that 2 women created a company organically without any investors, out of a need that they saw for themselves, and were able to create it in a way to share it with the reselling community. And now there are a bunch of other people trying to do the same thing and not really, succeeding, to be honest with you. But, not only do we love the company and the product, but we love the people behind it. Amanda and Clara, if you happen to be watching this or come back and watch it, that we love you. I'm grateful to have their friendship, and I do consider them friends.
Yeah.
But I love the product. I have been selling for over 20 years, and List Perfectly is single-handedly the absolute best reseller tool that has ever existed for me financially. For it's helping
me to grow my business and build wealth.
Yep. If you're particularly if you're trying to do this full time, you need to be investing in something like List Perfectly. And let me tell you, the pro level, yes, it's $70 a month, but you know what? You're getting everything. And every time they add new features, it just gets included in
They have never raised the price.
Yes.
I've been using List Perfectly since August of 2019. I was in one of their original first 70 customers. And the price has been the same when they had 2 platforms.
Yeah.
They now have what, 11, 12?
A bazillion platforms.
11 or 12 platforms.
And now they've got
integrated Sizely, photo room.
Somebody mentioned that our pictures were great. That's because of photo room. So that gets included. And
you get up to 1,500 with the pro plan right now, 1,500 background photos background a month. So that could be all of your listings, depending on what you list, or that could be if you listed thousands of listings, maybe it's just your profile picture or the gallery picture that you remove the background on for your listings, whatever. They also have so much more in there that we don't even use. And Teresa touched on it there. They do have, touched on it earlier. They do have, all this different types of stuff that you can use for accounting.
Colleen says, I definitely made over $50,000 extra from them last year.
Yep, me too.
This year. And let me tell you, Colleen is no joke. She is amazing. And her numbers, I'm pretty sure, blow ours out of the
I think Colleen's numbers beat both of ours now because she has been
crazy.
A crazy hustler in the last few years.
Yes. But she uses List Perfectly, and it has made a huge difference in her business as well. So listen, this is exactly what we're talking about. We don't talk about companies that we don't seriously believe in ourselves and use ourselves.
And there is a link below. And I do know a lot of you use List Perfectly. We do have an affiliate link below for List Perfectly. There is a code there for you to get 30% off your first month, or to get 30% off an upgrade if you decide to upgrade, which I suggest doing at the end of a month, because it's prorated, the upgrade. If you decide that you're in a basic plan right now and you want to go to the business plan or the pro plan, if you haven't tried List Perfectly at all, I suggest starting with the pro plan, because that gives you the most bang for your buck. And if you are able to use the 30% off code and devote some time that particular month to use that program well, so you can see exactly what it does for you, I'm almost willing to guarantee that if you use it properly and you actually put some energy into it in the first few weeks that you're using it, you're going to make your monthly investment back within 1 or 2 sales.
Yeah.
It really pays for itself. So,
okay. So we got to wrap up here pretty soon, but real quick, Susan Sanders, my favorite Las Vegas drummer, just donated double chai. Is that how you say it? Then Lucky, double chai. Then Lucky Jewish number 18. I wish her the best. Thank you so much. And if you don't know what she's talking about, as we're wrapping up the show, what we're all here about is paying it forward. We had a great year. Hopefully you guys had a great year. But we're paying it forward to a family in need here in Vegas, a single mom with 2 kids, a couple of pups. And you know how we feel about pups, which do I need to go grab the baby?
Yes.
And so why don't you wrap it up and tell them what we're doing?
Yeah. So, we are, let me just click on this so I can get hide this thing. She always does this on me and I don't know how to hide the comment. Sorry. You're just not going to have to look at my face. So yeah, this family that we're trying to help is this woman named Courtney. We don't know her. We were brought her cause was brought to our attention by our friend Dana, who does know her on a personal level, and did some fundraising to help her. And I know some of our boss members that are also friends with Dana donated generously a few weeks ago to help her as well. So basically, if you've ever been in a tough position, and I know that a lot of us have, and you're really behind the 8 ball where you can barely buy groceries, never mind worry about where you're living. There are just not enough agencies that exist to help people that live on the margin like this. And so she's in dire need. She's living in a weekly budget suites with her 2 kids and her 2 dogs. And those cost anywhere from $200 to $250 a week to live in a hovel surrounded by drug dealers. It's really, really not a good place to be, but it's all she can do right now. And I don't even know how they can predatory charge what they charge for these things to begin with, because $1,000 a month to live in a hovel is disgusting.
Yeah.
We need more people.
So please, $5 at least if you can handle it.
I do need a phone book to sit on.
And we're also offering, we're going to give away a $50 eBay gift card and a bunch of swag to one of the people who does donate to this GoFundMe. And all you need to do is privately send us a screenshot of your donation, either to my email, aboutiqueforhim@gmail.com,
which is listed below.
Yes, or you
through
can
Instagram,
message
through
of us,
Messenger.
whatever. We're going to do it through the end of the year. So please, just $5 at least to help out. We would really, really appreciate it. And also we're taking off the rest of the year, so we're not going to be back on YouTube until next year. See you next year, guys. But seriously, this baby went in Friday and got her last round of shots. She has doubled in size since we got her. On the 28th of this month, she'll be 4 months old. She is now almost 5.5 pounds, you guys. Look at this baby. Look at her. Look at how she's grown. Isn't she the cutest? Anyway, she's such a good little girl. Last night, for the first time, witnessed it myself. So did Vicky. She can jump up on the couch. It takes her a little bit of work. She's got to really try for it. And when I went downstairs, she was not on the couch. So I don't think she's done it yet today. She's finally able to just barely make it onto the couch by herself. It's ridiculous.
Where her poor bigger sisters,
Yes.
who are old ladies, have been able to find solace
Yeah.
and solitude, they're screwed now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she's trying to grow into her ears. Sandra says her ears are getting ridiculous. Look at how one of them is like all.
This is what it looks like all the time.
Look at that ear. Like one is over and one's like jacked out to the side. I don't know what's happening there, but she is seriously the cutest puppy. She had her final shots. We were coming home, and what happened?
She threw up all over me.
She threw up all over her mom, and then
it was real bad.
How do you feel about throw up?
So for those of you that don't know, vomit is my kryptonite. When the dogs throw up occasionally here or there, Katy has to deal with it because it took everything I had to not join her. And then Katy would have been cleaning up my vomit and hers. It was pooled into my shirt. It was, she had just eaten breakfast. It was not pretty.
Yeah. But then she slept with her. Look at that ear. Like, what is happening?
I know. She's so cute. It's not that when she's interested, they just stick out all the time.
It sticks out. So yeah, so she's like 5.5 pounds now. We don't know how big she's going to get. I think she's going to top out just under 10 pounds. She's got another couple months of growing at least.
They say that the small dogs stop growing around 6 or 7 months. And so she's got another, another couple months.
Yeah. But she is the cutest, patootiest. She's a little shivery right now. She's like, what's happening?
That's her Chihuahua part.
She's such a good girl. Anyway, guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Festivus, and all of the holidays, and
Happy New Year.
And like I said, we will not be back until after the New Year. We're going to take off the next couple of weeks to just chill. Vicky's family's coming today, and then her daughter's coming on Christmas Eve, and so we're just going to chill out and enjoy our time with the fam. And
go do all the fun things. Vegas has a lot of fun things to do around the holidays. Lots of fun things to see. Yep. Lots of lights.
Yep, absolutely. We really appreciate you guys. Please give to the GoFundMe. We'd really love it if you also shared it on your social media. We would appreciate any boost that you can give to that cause. Let's make somebody's holidays a little easier during probably the worst time of their life right now. So anyway,
that's it. Happy New Year. We'll see you next year. Bye.